Hello everyone, how are you? Hope all is well with you all and you and your families are doing okay. Listen to me, man, don't ever make the mistake of ever thinking that someone cares about you the way you care about them, so much so you totally drop your guard in how they will react to you when the going gets tough and the tough one gets going. And this is especially for the situationships, because it's sad we can't even call what is going on now most of them relationship anymore, because this same ship could turn out to be the biggest weapon that form against your life. So be wise. So here we have one of Jamaican's top sound system selector, Ricky Trooper, who had recently buried his 23-year-old daughter Brianna due to a love gone wrong drama. Of course, we know teeth and tongue will meet, but if you really love someone, would you really want to see them wipe off the face of the earth? Hell no. But if you do it, that was not love. That was obsession. So, Ricky Trooper daughter Brianna returned home one night with their 18-month-old son, and Derick Francis, her living baby father, and her had an argument. He drew his 9mm semi-automatic pistol and unalived her 4 corns to the head in their bedroom. This man never even take into consideration they shared an 18-month-old child together that will now have to live with the fact that there's no mother or no father, and how will that affect the life of his child. It was a shocker, but not a shocker to their neighbors on Ventura Street. Imagine their 18-month-old child was in the playpen, witnessing all this in the same room, just a few feet away. I know sometimes, depending on the individual's age, is a factor in many domestic violence, because Brianna was 23 years young and Derick was 42 years old. That is a big difference in age. He could have been her father. The thing is, in reality, age is just a number, and it depends on your mindset, because people who value themselves and have something to live for and is doing meaningful things with their lives don't take chances where they may end up passed on or end up in prison. So we can just say that this man was in a good place in his life. Now, I was talking to a friend of mine recently. He has his own established business. We can say he has money. His money is loud, but he finds favor in younger girls. He's always having younger girlfriends, and he has gone through a lot of stuff with them. And I have been through many counseling sessions with him. Every time drama comes up with his relationships, I always am trying to talk some sense into him. I always say to him, as a big man, when you're choosing these young girls to be with, you have to leave space for error, because they are still young. There are some young girls that are very mature for their age, not because they can do the barbed wire twist in bed and make babies, don't mean they are mentally and emotionally mature. Well, hell, some of the grown ass people, them all when them 56-year old, them not mentally and emotionally mature, much less when you're bucking up on these little younglings. So you have to give them a level of space for forgiveness if needed, as they will never be perfect to an almost middle-aged man who been there, done that, and have done many exploration. Even though some of the young may have done a lot of exploring too for themselves, but that doesn't mean they are mature enough to even understand everything that they are doing. Just bear in mind that they are still maturing and still need patience. However, in Brianna's case, I am not saying that she did anything untowards to deserve death, but being with a man that could be her father at her age, barely out of being a teenager, especially living in America, there would be various problems that will arise. And it is so sad to see that parents have to be burying their children. It was never meant to be that way. There's just too much parents burying them children these days, and it caused from many things. But cases like this is just even more depressing when you know that you birth a child put out in this world, and they say they take on love, and love is what take their life. And you know what? I say love with water in my mouth, because many of these people, especially these days, that goes into relationship, trust and believe, love was never a part of the attraction or they came to be together, and that is another problem in of its own self. However, he was recently sentenced to 2 years in Bridgeport, Connecticut, few days ago, to 55 years in prison. Brianna's mother, Camille Hemmings, gave a powerful victim impact statement, and the courtroom was filled with Brianna's family and friends, who expressed gratitude to the 3 judges panel for delivering justice, while others shouted at him, "Justice served." When I see situations like this, I know there is young children involved, especially in this case there is a young child, only 18 months at the time. I said to myself, this is another revolving door of a child that is going to grow up with nightmares and trauma. And if not paid keen attention, could have so much emotional roller coaster attitudes to deal with, or in making friends, or in even trusting people. Because sometimes as a child grow older, we might say that at 18 months that child won't remember exactly what happened. Trust and believe, you have that thing called recall memory. You ever get a dream that you've been somewhere same time, dressed same way, and you're in the moment of something? Sometimes those are memories that you try to lock away, but it just come flooding in and most likely affect you later on in life. Depends on how traumatic the situation is. Now, it won't be no secret that this child won't be seeing any mother and will know the full story of what happened, and the child will have to deal with the fact, if the father don't pass on in prison, that the father is in prison, and chances are that child may want to see the father. And how will the family deal with it? This child is going to have a traumatic upbringing. It is going to take a whole village to keep this child perfectly thinking, and even then you can't even control emotions. because emotions acts on their own. Trust and believe me. Now, ever sometimes say you're not stressing over anything, because like me, I'll be saying, listen man, I'm not stressing over this and everything is okay. And then I just find myself like not feeling well or have migraine and so on, and there's nothing that triggers it off. But then when you check a stock, the only thing that could be bothering me, it would have been this situation. But I kept telling myself that I'm not thinking about it. Well, that's how emotions go. You can't control emotions. It's a feeling that works with your subconscious. So this child is really going to need its village to really pour love into this child and pour guidance and attention. And you know what is hurtful? Nobody actually can love your child the right way like how you can. So this child just going to be growing up with family. So it's already a sad situation. As adults, we need to choose wisely the people who will go into relationships with. Listen to me man, you guys. Just take time out and make sure you're going in a relationship where you can communicate well and be friends. These relationships are rolling straight into bed, and that's where the relationship start. That is, and after that, baby start make, and then you start to find out who in family is, where he come from, where she come from, where her family come from. All of that is done long after when the ass done gone through the gate, and chances are if you try to get out now based on what you find out is another situation. Just be wise guys. Anyway guys, just want to say to Ricky Trooper and Camille, on the behalf of my listeners and subscribers, we want to send out our sincere condolences on the loss of your daughter, and we want to say congratulations on justice being served. Just keep her memory alive. Stay strong. Sleep in peace, Brianna. Anyway guys, please remember to like, comment and subscribe to my platform please. Love you all. Bye for now.